Normal. Normal.
Monday.
On the 17th, I have 3 and 1 is an adoption. And that adoption, I think Mr. Arabasha me está diciendo de he needs to reset it for another day. So there's only 2. I don't want to add any more because that's the day that I'll be traveling to Houston.
Okay.
So I might just keep those 2 only. And one is a status and another one is and that's the other one is an iffy también because es el de Vargas and it's a motion to compel. So I'm gonna call esta Irma from Rodriguez to see if they're ready because they weren't ready the last time.
Okay.
So they had some issues.
Okay.
So I don't want to add anything more.
Okay. Don't worry.
So I'd rather, put it on the days that I'm going to be available.
We're trying to get hold of the defendant. He just answered. He's going to get on Zoom.
He's gonna get on Zoom right now?
I'm here in person for another hearing. I mean, I don't know if I need to, how to do it.
All right.
Dennis is supposed to start trying to get on. He's already on.
Cindy, did you get the money? Did you
Yes,
get the
thank
money? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And did you get my email?
Yes.
Okay,
I did.
great. Thanks.
All right, ready to go?
Yes.
The 357, good morning, everyone. The 357 District Court will call its forward session for today's docket hearing, Wednesday, February the 9th, 2022. Starting with civil hearing, Raul, 2021 BCL 1082, Raul Hernandez versus American Cement Advisors. Mr. Corey, Mr. Snyder.
Yes, Your
Good
Honor.
morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Poirier.
This is Shauna Lozano for defendant.
All right, what do we have in here? A motion for continuance?
That's
That's
right, Your
correct.
Honor.
And what, if you can enlighten the court a little bit about this case, what is it what is?
Sure, Your Honor. If you don't mind, I'll jump in. This is Brian Corey, representing Mr. Hernandez. He fell off a ladder. It's an on-the-job injury case.
Okay.
And so he's got potential TBI treatment as well as neck and back. And I know I'll represent to the court and to opposing counsel that he just saw orthopedic doctor on the 7th of this month, just a couple days ago. So we're waiting on a return for that as to whether there'll be a surgical rec.
Okay.
So Your Honor, we want to give defense time, number one, to be able to get all of his medicals, perform a proper deposition, and then designate any experts that they may need, and also allow us time after that then to have a fruitful mediation with Mr. Garza, as was earlier ordered by the court.
And how long do you anticipate this will take? Well,
Uh,
let me ask you this. He
Yes, Your
saw
Honor.
a orthopedic for his neck, his back, or what?
Correct. That's right. Cervical and lumbar.
All right. So any allegations or any claims made on TBI are already, you already have that proof of that or whatever you're going to move forward with?
Excuse me. That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, here's where we're at. We have currently been under suspension for jury trials because of this COVID thing. But we anticipate that given the atmosphere in the viral world, that we are going to be able to move forward with jury trials here starting in March. So, from March on, we have an open field as to when you want to try this case. It's a 2021 case, it's about a year old. So you tell me, when will you be ready to try this case? And I want you to be optimistic about this. I mean, pessimistic about this, okay? All right. So let's go. Tell me more or less how much time you need.
Your Honor, at least based on our agreed motion for continuance, we were requesting a minimum 6 months. Again, for the reasons I established of making sure defendants can do what they need to as far as depositions, and we can get all the discovery taken care of, and a fruitful mediation before we come back to the court to potentially try the case. So if our current date is April, at a minimum, that would be in October. And I think, something in November might be more realistic, at least from my perspective. I'll let opposing counsel chime in too.
Yeah, that's what we had in our motion, and yeah, about 6 months out, we would think would do, so
So you want a
November.
trial date in October?
Your Honor, this is Brian Armidas. I'm here on behalf of Micah Mills for American Cement Co-Counsel. November is fine with us. Mr. Mills.
November. You want a trial date in November?
Well, Mr. Mills, October and late September would not be good for him.
Well,
Your Honor.
let me suggest something to you all. If I set this case for November, that far out, I will not. You cannot come back and ask me for another continuance. If that is clear with all of you, I will set it for November. Give you plenty of time to get this thing done. But be ready to go to trial. And I will not hear any more motions for continuance, agreed or otherwise. Am I clear, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Understood, Your Honor.
Understood.
Can you give them a trial date in November?
Okay, I have November 10th, announcements, trial on the 14th.
November 14th for trial, the 10th for announcements. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day. All right, are we ready with the criminal hearing?
I don't think the defendant is on.
Janice, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Janice.
Mine is here.
But you don't have one of these, Mr. Janice.
Mhm.
All right,
Make do with
Serena,
what I have.
is your client on?
Believe he is, Your Honor. I'm not sure if he's in the waiting room.
There's nobody in my waiting room.
Well, can you find out where your client is? Ms. Ramirez Ms. Ramirez needs to go through the stuff with him, so
Mhm.
let's find him.
Mr. Reina, will your client need an interpreter?
Good question. I believe he speaks English, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wait, just in case,
Okay, thank you.
before I release the interpreter.
And I'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Morning, Alejandro.
Good morning, everyone.
So we're just gonna wait and see if Mr. Reina's client needs an interpreter or not. And if he doesn't, that's the last. So if you need
Oh,
to go
okay.
key, but we just got to find him first. So just wait, hang on a bit.
I just spoke to him, Miss Elise, and he's logging on. He does not need an interpreter.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Alejandro, you can go to another quarter. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Good morning, Mr. Mireles.
Good morning.
Okay, Mr. Adrian Mireles,
Yes, ma'am.
did your attorney explain this paperwork to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for your attorney?
No, ma'am.
And is this your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Nathan, we agreed this was going to be deferred, correct? 12 months deferred under 1244B?
That is correct.
I'm reviewing the agreement here. I see 12 months, county jail suspended and probated for 12 months. Not sure if
sir.
we need to state there it's going to be deferred.
I would write that in.
Okay.
It's 12 months deferred adjudication.
Mr. Mireles, can you unmute yourself and start your camera, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You can put your hand down.
All right, this is State of Texas for Adrian Mireles, 2021 DCR 1362. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Mireles, your attorney tells me you wish to enter a plea of guilty to certain charges in the indictment. What is it that you want to tell me you're guilty of this morning?
Guilty of controlled substance.
Possession of a controlled substance
Yeah.
that has been reduced to a state jail felony, class A misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 12.44B, which calls for confinement in the county jail for a term of up to 1 year. In addition, I can impose a fine not to exceed $4,000. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Are you doing this freely and voluntarily, Mr. Mireles?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is it necessary to rearrange Mr. Mireles?
I couldn't hear you, sir.
Mr. Mireles, understanding what you're pleading guilty to, understanding what the range of punishment is, I now ask in 2021 DCR 1362, what is your plea to the charges of possession of a controlled substance, state jail felony reduced to a Class A misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 12.44B? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you a citizen of the United States, sir?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty because you're in fact guilty and for no other reason? Are you pleading guilty because you're in fact guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty out of any persuasion of fear, hope of pardon, force, threats, or promises of any kind?
No, sir.
All right. Have you ever been in a mental hospital treated by a doctor for any mental disorders?
No. No, sir.
All right. Mr. Rainey, you find Mr. Mireles competent and able to assist in any defense you may have?
Yes, Your Honor, it is my opinion that he is competent and he was able to assist me in his defense.
Mr. Mireles, you have a recommended sentence. You pled guilty with a recommended sentence. Do you understand that? Mr. Mireles, are you in a car and driving?
No, sir. I can't hear you too good.
Well, I can see you. Are you in a car right now?
Yes, but I'm not driving.
Okay, can you do me a favor? Can you just stop somewhere real quick and let's finish this while you're stopped? I don't know if you're going somewhere that you need to be there or what.
Yeah, I'm going to work. Let me just stop real quick.
Just park real quick. Let's make sure you're hearing everything I'm asking you because it's important, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Got it there?
Yeah, ready.
All right, just keep your camera still right there. All right. You have pled guilty with a recommended sentence. That is a sentence that's been recommended by the prosecutor and your defense attorney in this case to me for a specific sentence. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
In other words, they're recommending that I sentence you to 12 months in county jail, but suspended for 12 months. Is that your understanding of it?
Why does he keep muting himself?
Mr. You muted, okay. Is that?
No.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
What you need to know about that is that the decision of whether to follow that recommendation or not is totally only up to me. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If I, for some reason, after further discussion with parties here or evaluation, determine that this is not an appropriate sentence, I will reject it. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the only option there is for you to proceed to a jury trial to determine your guilt, your innocence, and your punishment, if that's the case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. The alternative and the opposite side of that coin is this. If I accept it, the way it's been stated, the way you understand it, the way that it's been recommended, you may not appeal your case without the court's permission, except as to any pretrial motions Mr. Reyna may have filed on your behalf prior to today. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. In that case, I'm going to find you feel guilty is freely and voluntarily made and you accomplish that trial. I'll ask the state to produce evidence to substantiate the plea.
Judge, at this time, state offers exhibits 1, 2, and 3 into evidence.
Any objection, counsel?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyna, look at the screen.
Mr.
Mireles, I'm sorry, look at the screen. I have here a set of documents that's called a plea packet. These are all documents that are related to your case. In there that there consist of 3 exhibits. Exhibit number 1 is a 9-page document, and on page 7, there's a signature line and there's a signature already on there. Is this in fact your signature, Mr. Mireles?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Mireles, were you aware that in these documents, when you signed them, that you were waiving, giving up certain constitutional rights? For example, you were waiving your right to a trial by jury. You were waiving your right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself. You were waiving your right to confront your accusers in open court. Do you understand
Yes.
that? Do you understand
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. And further, in these documents, you're agreeing with the prosecution that exhibits not 1, but 2 and 3 are true and correct copies of the original offense incident reports, lab reports that were generated as a result of your arrest, the reason you're pleading guilty to me this morning. Is that your informal agreement with the prosecution?
Mm,
That those documents are true and correct copies?
Oh, yeah, there's true and correct.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to find that you have voluntarily and intelligently waived your constitutional and statutory rights, and the evidence offered by the state does substantiate your plea of guilt. Before the court finds you guilty, I'd like to know a little bit more about Mr. Mireles. What is his background?
Judge, see, he has a prior DWI, a misdemeanor, and no other history. And that's why we're offering this plea.
What do you do, Mr. Mireles?
Work in sales,
What kind of sales?
contracts of light and water softeners
And how long have you been employed?
for 5 years.
Are you married, sir?
No, sir.
Do you have any children?
No, sir.
The court will not find Mr. Mireles.
Yes, sir.
They were telling you to move?
Yeah, it was a police. That's why.
Oh, okay. Mr. Mireles.
Yes, sir.
We'll go along with the plea agreement, and hereby sentences you to 1 year confinement in Cameron County Jail, and hereby suspend the imposition of sentence under the following conditions. Mr. Cortez, you ready up, Mr. Mireles? Listen, please.
The
Yes, sir.
defendant will remain arrest-free.
That's your very first condition. No more arrests, Mr. Mireles.
Yes, sir.
Alcohol and drug evaluation.
No.
GED or high school diploma.
Do you have a GED, high school diploma?
No, sir.
How far did you go in school?
All the way to my senior year.
You think you could pass a high school equivalency program on the computer?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be granted.
Maintain gainful employment.
Yes,
Random UAs.
yes,
The breathalyzer.
no,
The restitution for 180.
yes.
And the 15-hour drug offender education program.
You understand that, Mr. Mireles? You're gonna have to find time to do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if we could have a phone number for him.
Mr. Mireles, can you please
Yeah.
favor us with a phone number that the probation officer will be able to find you 24/7 while you're on probation?
Yes, sir. It's 956-620-5535.
Thank you.
All right, court will give him 180 days to pay the court costs.
Judge, if I may, I just want to clear something up. In the plea agreement, we had originally agreed it was 12-month deferred adjudication. I'm not sure if that's clear.
In fact, the court was thinking about doing that already too, you know.
Awesome.
So the court will grant that and will amend the sentence to reflect that it's a 12-month deferred adjudication probation term.
Thank you.
The court will not find him guilty. All right, at this time. Okay? I didn't find you guilty, Mr. Mireles. If you complete your probation, it's like if this didn't happen, so it's up to you. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
If you go get arrested again, well, then you're asking for it. Sorry to tell you.
I will have.
All righty. Okay.
All right.